If we've been united with Christ in his death, then what happened to the person we used to be? Well, in the last video, we saw Paul say that we've been baptized into Christ's death and raised to walk in the newness of life. But now Paul takes that idea even further. Romans 6:5 says, "For if we've become united with him in the likeness of his death, we will certainly also be united with him in the likeness of his resurrection." That word united is really important, and one the Orthodox Church strongly emphasizes in their theology. Paul isn't talking about simply believing that Jesus died. He's talking about union with Christ, being brought into participation in his death and resurrection. Christ's death becomes the pattern and basis of our dying to sin, and his resurrection becomes the source of our new life. And then Paul tells us what happened to our old life. In verse 6, he says, "We know this, that our old self was crucified with him." Think about that. Your old self was crucified with Christ. Why? Well, so that the body of sin would be rendered powerless, so that we would no longer be enslaved by sin. And here's where everything we've been talking about comes together. Remember in part 1 when we talked about sin as a power, a master that enslaves us? Paul is saying that through our union with Christ, that slavery has now been broken. Sin may still be present. Sin may still tempt you. In fact, I'm sure it will. But sin is no longer our master. And that's what Paul means when he says our old self was crucified. He's not saying your old desires just magically disappear. He's saying the old master no longer has dominion over you. For the one who has died has been set free from sin. Do you see what Paul's saying? The relationship has changed. Sin was once our master, but through our union with Christ, its dominion has been broken. And this brings us back to what I called free won't. In Christ, you don't have to say yes to sin anymore. You can say no. You can resist it. You can subdue it. Not because we're suddenly perfect, but because sin is no longer our master. The old you has been crucified with Christ, and now the new you can walk in the way, a way of freedom, a way of obedience, a way of love. Because if we've died with Christ, what does that mean for how we should see ourselves right now? Well, that's what Paul answers next. Follow for part 4.